Hey everybody, it is Wednesday, September 13th. Welcome to the TED Show episode 22. You're lucky 22, Dennis. And I hope everybody weathered the storm okay. Let me know if you can hear me or not, and let me know if we are connected or not. I'm watching to see. So I have Dennis Burgess with me. Say hi, Dennis.
Hi, Dennis.
So just so they can hear you. And let's see, are you all hearing? Making sure that we have connection. Dennis and I met because Dennis is in the, oh good, people are on. Can you hear us? Yes. Dennis and I met because we're both in the real estate world. He's much more professional than I am, as you know. Oh, there's our video. Here we go. Give me a second, everybody, and let me make sure that I can hear it, because I don't want what happened to Justin Clark happen again, where I can't hear anything.
And you gotta be careful, because I got this forehead. It's almost a 5 head.
Thanks, babe. So Stacy said she can hear us.
All
right, so it's not. I always say I got a 5 head. I mean, it's like. I saw a picture of you in your yearbook, though. You had hair at one time.
Yeah, 30 years.
So I hope everybody weathered the storm. We had no power for 48 hours. I'm so blessed that we got power back. It made me very cranky, so I feel horrible for anybody out there who still doesn't have cell service, power, AC. The club did offer anybody who wanted to have a shower that was a member. I mean, people are really going out of their way. I feel like we're coming together as a community and being helpful. And you weathered the storm out partially in a shelter, which ran out of power and had no cots. So listen, I was very happy to lay in my hot house in my hot bed rather than lay on a concrete floor.
Well, hardwood. Yeah.
Hardwood, yeah, no thank you. So, hi Alice, how you doing? So anyway, we're thinking of you, we're praying for you. I know everybody is dying to get that power back on, get back to normalcy, get back to cell service, and
I just want to say, echo Ted's comments and say thank you to all the linemen that have come from around the country. My uncle, my mother's brother Jimmy, he had one job in his life from 1957 to 2002. He worked for Alabama Power. He climbed poles until the day he retired at 63 years old. And this is the stuff he did, the outages throughout the Southeast. And I know the dedication that those guys put into their job.
It's a lot, because everybody's depending on them.
And they compete. They want to get their area back in service before the next guy gets his back in service. And they're working hard, and it's a dangerous job. So
it's interesting because we had so many friends and yes, we are so grateful to the power companies. And I know everybody is working hard. We saw our crews out there pretty early after the hurricane sort of passed through. And I know it is a tenuous, stressful place for them to be. A lot of them came from out of state to help, out of the area. So we're all very, very, very thankful. Hey, Larry, how you guys doing? Hey, D2E's on. So you can't see that. That's why I'm over here saying hi. I can't see it either. That's why I have the computer up. I can't see anything. So let's go back, because I know you're a big Alabama fan, and there's a reason for that. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, as everybody should be.
Listen, the fact that I know Roll Tide, most of my friends out there are going to be surprised. I saw Kat Brower check in. She'd be like, Ted Bogert, how do you know what Roll Tide means? Because usually I go to games and I'm always rooting for my hosts. Don't get me wrong. So I don't ever root for FSU when I'm at Kat Brower's house, because that would be dangerous. But hey, Carson, how you doing? But tell us a little bit about you. So you're Birmingham, born and raised.
Right. Birmingham, born and raised.
You got a little bit of that Birmingham accent.
Well, I tell everybody my New York accent throws people off. But I grew up in Birmingham. Product of the Birmingham City Schools. Had a great public school education.
That's good to hear.
At a school called Ramsey, which was an alternative school. You took an exam to get in. You had to have an IQ test or whatever. And they did something that was unique at the time, in that each freshman class was 100 black, 100 white. No Latinos, sorry. We didn't have them in Alabama. But it was a diverse background, and you look at my yearbook and everything, and I got friends of every persuasion, and it's a great thing.
I did. I actually looked at Dennis's yearbook, and he was telling me one guy is a bigwig with the neonatal unit, one of the first African Americans to do that. And so you had. I want to get back to Birmingham in a little bit, but I want you, and we'll work backwards. But tell us what you do now. You work with a property management company,
right? I've been primarily property management now 16 years. I don't have any properties to manage at the moment. I switched companies, went to Empire Network Realty with a great broker.
Who's the broker?
Mary Fernandez.
Hey, Mary.
If she sees this, Mary Fernandez used to work for Jim Battenchuck, another great guy. Charles Ruttenberg went out on her own, and now she's around 200 agents under
That's
her.
amazing.
As a young Latina business lady, as impressive as they come. So, looking to do some sales, do some training.
But you had like 550. Somebody had 550 homes.
I saw that.
Yeah,
before I moved down here to Alabama, I managed 550 properties back in Birmingham.
That's a lot.
Which means you see anything and everything. Which, as I mentioned to you before we came on, this time that everyone's going through right now, for a property manager, our most valuable thing is a vendor list, and we need the plumbers pretty often, carpet cleaning, general cleaning folks. We don't always use electricians and things like that, but when you need one, you need to know that you got a good one. And so right now, with the hurricane and everything, not just property management, but even the sales type folks are going to check their listings. They got a tree through the roof. They say, what do I do?
Well, yeah, because if you don't specialize in property management, you won't necessarily always have all of those people at your fingertips. You won't have used those vendors before.
And that's where, call folks affiliates, call them vendors, call them contractors. But it showed this. I'm blessed to speak to you today, but it couldn't have come at a better time to show the benefits of our affiliates. And
let's talk about that. So let's talk. You're running for office at ORA, which for those of you who are not in the industry, it's the Orlando Regional Realtors Association, and you're running for a very big office.
The biggest one we have.
The biggest one.
The biggest one we have, which means you probably hear the most complaints, or I'd hear the most complaints. I think like most other people, I started out with one reason I wanted to get involved in ORA, and that was I'd seen a lot of people in our industry that I wanted to help them get out of it. They, unethical people and things like that. Stephen Baker was president at the time, put me on a grievance committee, and I enjoyed that. Government affairs as well. So everyone that gets up to my position, typically they start with something, whether it's government affairs, whether it's education, whether it's serving on community relations.
Yeah, if you don't serve on committees, how do you get a good feel for what's really going on in the organization? Then you're too tunnel vision, too narrow-minded.
Very good point, and that's why early on, I'd say my second year in, this is my 7th year in leadership overall, my 4th year on the board of directors, and then this year I'm the vice chairman for strategic planning.
You're vice chairman for strategic planning, and tell them what you're running for, because we didn't say it.
I'm running for president-elect, which means
that's a big office.
I would serve as 2018 president-elect and 2019 president, and then the following year as immediate past president. So it's a 3-year commitment. But the one thing I wanted to do after I got a couple years into it, Jill Bowles, another property manager, give her a shout out. She talks about, where's the money, follow the money. I wanted to know about the budget and finance side of the association. I wanted to know about grievance, government affairs, property management. I wanted to know about awards committee, bylaws and policies, and I made a point to spread out across all the different committees and everything, because I didn't want to get pigeonholed into, hey, here's this property management dude, or
correct. Yeah, but it's also good, like we said earlier, to have that wide range of experience within the association. And I'm getting all sorts of comments. Dennis is a candidate who supports Aura affiliates, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Because as an affiliate at Aura, that is incredibly important to me. And I just want to go on record as saying that Dennis and I kind of scheduled this and have been talking about this since I debuted the show. So I'm happy to have him on there. And Kat actually posted too, and Alice. Look, we're very, very appreciative because we love Aura, and the affiliates want to continue to be involved and want to continue to be a part. And that's part of the video that you put out for your election video. So talk a little bit about that. So tell people what affiliates are, because some people on here are like, what's an affiliate? What does that even mean?
Well, an affiliate, Aura has what's called an affiliate forum with a chairman of the affiliate forum. There's also an affiliate that's appointed to the board of directors for a 2-year term. We as elected directors serve 3-year terms. There's an affiliate director that's appointed to a 2-year term.
Who's that affiliate director?
Right now, the affiliate director is none other than mortgagee title queen Kat Brower.
Kat Brower, look, she just hashtagged title queen. She's actually listening today.
Title queen, and I can't get a roll tide from her. Say
no, she's not going to get roll tide. She did say she taught me roll tide, and she's probably right.
Probably it. But the affiliates provide a lot of times they're like secret agents are a hidden part of our Aura community, so to speak, because you don't realize it until you start thinking. You're like, okay, Chris Atwell is vice chairman of YPN Young Professionals this year. He's vice chairman of that. He's an affiliate.
Correct.
You're like, wait a second.
Shout out to Chris Atwell.
Chris Atwell. And
Alice says Kat was elected, not appointed.
Right.
We never mess with Alice Weinberg.
If Alice Weinberg caught it, then I undoubtedly misspoke. The affiliate director is elected to.
Kat Brower didn't say it yet, but I'm sure I'd get it later.
Alice Weinberg, and Alice Weinberg is another great example. Affiliates are not only mortgagee title folks, but Alice Weinberg, as an employee of the Seminole County Appraiser's Office, David Johnson, that is someone who all of us can respect for her industry knowledge.
Correct.
Her direct contact with David Johnson. She could probably sit in his chair. You walk into his office, sit right down in his chair.
Alice, that's allegedly, but I bet he's right.
She could, he probably wouldn't admit it publicly, but I mean, I've seen the guy dance. It's not too impressive.
No, Dave, we've all seen you dance at the base camp stuff.
Yeah, he's a personable fellow, but it's also good to have community partners. Rick Singh, as a matter of fact, he's a licensed broker as Orange County property appraiser. He's not an affiliate, but he's another guy from the industry. It's important. But
so why would affiliates be? I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but I think it's important.
Yeah.
Why would affiliates even be an issue that we would have to discuss or you would have to talk about? Because it seems like affiliates, like you were saying, and I know what you were meaning, secret agents behind the scenes, we sponsor things, we support things, we show up to things, and so why would it even be necessary to have you take the stance that you're pro-affiliate?
Well, I think there's a lot of folks that just aren't paying attention. I mean, because you see, not only, and she wouldn't say it, but I'll say it. Being an affiliate of Aura is not. There's no direct correlation to making money from Aura.
Agreed.
There's some affiliates that are bigger. Won't mention their names. Their value, they give the big bucks, but there's folks, Kat Brower, for example, who works hard at serving on the awards committee, serving in the affiliate forum, serving on community relations, member relations, what have you. they're not there to make money off of us.
Correct.
Sure, they'll get some connections and things like that, but truth be known, Aura could, I'll give a shout out too to my friend Chastity Vega. It's the new CEO of the Greater Orlando Builders Association. They're underwater. I believe they're still underwater. Aura could float away into the ocean, and our affiliates would still be fine. I can't say that we would be better off without our affiliates. So I think we get a lot more value from our affiliates than they get from us.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And I think being pro-affiliate, having that stance is so important. It's important to the affiliates, and there are countless realtors. I'm trying to say that right because I get corrected all the time. It's not realtors, it's realtors. Are supportive of us. We feel that support. But you're right. We do it just like you do what you do because we have a passion for what the organization is supposed to represent, what it does in the community, what it does for everybody that's involved. And so we do appreciate you being pro-affiliate. And I got that part out, and I'm glad. Oh, D, you are welcome. So thank you for that. And so you're running for president-elect. When are the elections?
Voting starts on my birthday, September 25th. Goes to the 29th, that whole week, the 25th to the 29th. And
where's your video that people can view? And I'll post it later too. But
it's on my Facebook page. My campaign page is at Vote Dennis Burgess.
At Vote Dennis Burgess, and that's on Facebook.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's go back. So you're here, you're successful at what you do, you're running for office, you're super involved. Let's go back to what the beginning story. So we were in Alabama, and then one of the things that I just find amazing about you, and you talk about what you want to talk about, is that you have come from adversity and been able to continue to not allow yourself to have the victim mentality so you could not go further with what you do. So whatever you feel comfortable sharing about that, and I know you shared, a lot of people do know about some of this, but I want you to share what you want to, but I think you have a story, and I think there are a lot of people that have experienced what we've experienced, and I haven't talked about my stuff. At some point I will, but I feel like you've got a fantastic story that could motivate people, could make people feel like that they are not alone or not unique and the only people going through what they're going through. So share what you'd like to share.
Well,
and I appreciate it in advance, whatever you do.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. And like I showed you, my high school year, when I set foot in the 9th grade, I was 4'10" and weighed 80 pounds.
Wow.
I grew a little bit, didn't put on much weight, and when I went to the Navy at 19, I was 5'7", 105 pounds.
That's right. Thank you for serving. Dennis is a Navy vet. Yeah. We appreciate that.
I had to get a weight waiver, an underweight waiver, because I didn't weigh enough as a man.
That is something I will never ever have to get.
They said you got to weigh 115 pounds. I said. My mother was trying to get me bananas and milkshakes. I said, that does not work. I said, you can't put on 10 pounds in 3 days. But, growing up, my dad was out of the picture early, my quote-unquote real dad. And I'll just say that my mother made some bad choices in stepdads. Bunch of losers. And the result of that was me receiving a lot of physical abuse. A lot of folks know I have epilepsy and I have narcolepsy, and it's because I have scar tissue on my brain from a lot of blows to the head. And I saw mental illness firsthand. The guy that punched me in the head and everything a lot was a paranoid schizophrenic, and went toward the roughest part of things. All the windows in our house were nailed shut. We had a security system on the house to keep us in, and we had a split level house where you go in these 2 doors and you either go up or down. He would sleep on the floor inside the front doors and say that if we were going to sneak out of the house, we'd have to step over him. And the weird thing, there was no drinking involved, no drugs, and he never hit my mother, but he would hit me and my sister and my little brothers. And I was molested as a child.
That's a very brave thing.
At the age of 5, by a neighbor, and at the age of 8 by a family member. And my sister is one of the strongest people I know. I won't go into everything with her, but I've seen over the years so many stories on Oprah of people saying this happened to me, and that's why I'm doing this to so and so. I have never ever hitting a woman, hitting a kid is never been on my radar screen.
Sure.
Never will be. And I think part of it all comes down to the fact that I never blamed myself for anything that happened to me.
So that's powerful. So you never, we talked about this earlier, so you didn't you didn't blame yourself, so you weren't sitting there going, okay, if I just did this different, it would be better, or I should have done this, or part of it's my fault. So you took that road, which is a survival skill, because we all have different ones, and that's how we all kind of get through to adulthood, so that we don't repeat those same things. So you never took that on. You never took responsibility, and you shouldn't, because you had no responsibility.
Right. And, but I can't say it hadn't affected me over the years. When you have a family life that's a freak show, like mine was, I'm not going to invite friends over to the house to hang out.
Sure.
That just never happened. And so you carry that along to my Navy years, and when I went in the Navy, I was free. For one, nobody that's watching this or was in the Navy with me has ever heard me utter a curse word. It's just not my vocabulary. But in the Navy, I went through a phase where I experimented with drinking and all this. Went through 10 years, a rather short but eventful drinking career. But that was me going back. Things that people learned at 14 and 15, I was learning at 25 and 30.
Yeah, because you were locked in a prison,
right,
basically.
because I was locked in a prison. And so if I had 50 cents for every time I've heard somebody say, for somebody so smart, how could you do something so dang stupid? I'd be a rich man, but it's just it just goes to show you there's a difference between intellect and wisdom, and there's a difference between being smart and having life experience, and that's why I place a lot of value on everything. And for example, we got evicted out of a lot of dang houses, quite frankly, growing up, and so.
Was that because he couldn't hold a job, or
broke as heck?
Yeah.
We're broke as heck. But what that does is, in property management, an eviction is one of the worst experiences for your tenant and quite frankly for me. And I've always tried to approach it, just because somebody is broke doesn't mean they have no dignity. Just because they can't pay you rent doesn't mean they deserve to be treated with disrespect. I got pictures I'll show you when we're done, but I evicted the last eviction I had. The couple were together 30 years. They were behind on rent. The guy went back to his wife from 79 and left this lady. When I showed up to evict these people, there were fish still in a tank I put out on the street, 5 TVs, mattresses, and this lady had her closet full of clothes. I made sure, because her family kept cruising by, I made sure that those folks putting all her stuff on the curb put her clothes out last so they wouldn't be damaged. And so we could maintain that lady's dignity. And she called and thanked me for doing that, for treating her well.
Well, I think you come from, because of all you went through, because there are a couple ways you could have gone, right? Because the any kind of abuse, you can go that exact same direction, or you can go the opposite direction. There's not a whole lot of gray area. And so I think that you're talking about a compassion that you may not have had because of what you went through and experienced growing up. And I think that's a wonderful thing, because you're right. It doesn't, just because you are having trouble with money doesn't make you an evil, terrible person. It doesn't. You don't. I love the dignity part. That's awesome, because that's how you want to treat people. So that's amazing.
It is, and that's why I know your guest tomorrow or Friday, Beth Hobart.
Beth's coming on Friday.
Beth Hobart Friday. Beth Massey Hobart and husband Jim.
Yep.
I can't call him Sweet Jim because Beth gets mad.
Sweet Jim.
I call him Sweet Jim. But the folks at Andre Bailey and all the work he's done and everything. I've used the phrase "homeless ain't hopeless" for a number of years, and that's what I'd like to see more of. I'd like to see our community encouraging folks and to know that homeless ain't hopeless. But
you were able to come out of your situation, which is sort of one of the takeaways I want people to have, is you came from a very horrible, abusive background, and faith, or probably a multitude of things, including faith, because I know you're a man of faith, got you past that, and instead of repeating the same things that you went through, you went a different direction and were able to overcome the adversity.
And I'm so, a number of things I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for that high school and the great group of folks that I went to high school with. A lot of them are my Facebook friends. They'll probably see this. I served with a lot of folks in the Navy. Probably 50 of them or so are my Facebook friends today. I keep in contact with 25, 30 years later. So I've been fortunate in that regard. And, a lady, a 93-year-old lady named Esther Pugh, saw something going on in our family and encouraged my sister to go to church with her, and me going to church with them, doing macaroni arts and crafts and stuff, and skating rink lock-ins was my entryway into the Baptist church and being saved, and Jesus Christ being my Lord and Savior. It gets to a point when you have nothing left, and when you're at your lowest, that's when God lifts you up. And
and you had people that, obviously, I'm also a man of faith, so you had people that I feel like he was using. So Esther Pugh, for example, I had the same kind of people in my life, and I always look back and go, what in the world, what made them take the interest and actually go take the risk? Because back then it kind of was a risk. We certainly were a different society back in the day as far as that's concerned. Everything was swept under the carpet, nobody talked about it. But I keep in touch with people like Esther Pugh, for you, that I know made a difference. Like, they were the ones that helped.
And it's it's still around today. It's there have been people that have told me don't mention religion and this and that. I can't help it because that's who I am. A year or so ago, when the Pulse happened, and one of my tenants, Omar Delgado, was like the third guy in the place. He was all over the news rescuing that Angel Cologne that had been shot 6 times, and they reunited. Eatonville police officer Omar Delgado, and salute. Only one, I believe, who doesn't have a medal yet. So if somebody can get Omar Delgado a medal, I'd appreciate it. Orlando cops in Orange County got a medal, but Omar doesn't have a medal. Our church, my church, Aloma Church, wanted to have a service, a community service. I believe our pastor, Dr. Wesley Baldwin, he invited maybe 15 of his fellow pastors. Half of them responded, and only 4 or 5 showed up. And that's an embarrassing response for, I hate to say gay-friendly community that we are, but I don't know if it's a reflection of folks having some animosity toward the faith community and thinking it was just a show, or if it's just the nature of things. But I
think we've come a long way since then. I feel like it's gotten better. I mean, I think we're coming together. Even Pulse certainly pulled a lot of people together, and I think you could see it in even this particular tragedy with everything that everybody's dealing with, Irma, and all the stuff that you saw with Harvey, for example. I mean, I think as a community, the world community is not as bad as nothing against my media friends. Kat Brower says, thank you for sharing such a personal and intimate part of your life. You truly have a beautiful heart.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I was in line in Altamont the other night at a 7-Eleven, which the line stretched out the door, and I was talking to some other people, and this one guy was there. He had some ice cream, some M&Ms, and I was telling him, I said, man, by the time we get to the front of this line, those M&Ms are going to be rattling around in that bucket because it's going to melt. And he's like, yeah. And they're like, you know, how many times are you in line behind people at 7-Eleven, and your initial reaction is, oh, look at this chick that's got a tattoo on the back of her neck and a gold chain or a tattoo, whatever, and you think nothing of talking to that person. Right. You just dismiss them. But here we are, this hurricane and everything brings out the neighbor that loans his leaf blower to somebody else. And
I think it brings out the good in people. It really does, and the media did sort of an okay job. Jim Batenchuk just got on, so you know.
Hey Jim. I think it amplifies things because, like we mentioned, I stayed at Popka Middle School shelter Sunday into Monday, and 2 people were arrested at the shelter for stealing cell phones from other people at the shelter. So a dirtbag is going to be a dirtbag. This hurricane.
We're not mincing words here, people.
Yeah, that's where I am. I think everybody knows that. But it's going to bring that out, and it's going to bring out the good. And I've seen more good than bad. I've seen driving around as I did the last few days. I've seen a lot of trees down. On power.
You're one of the, and believe it or not, we're already at 33 minutes, so we have to cut out.
Oh.
So, anything you want to say as a last? I mean, it's been such a pleasure, and I appreciate you being brave enough to share that, because I think that is something that a lot of people need to hear, and I appreciate you being pro-affiliate, back to business. Again, I can't thank you enough for that. And then any parting words of wisdom?
I'll just echo what I said in that campaign or candidate video that I made. I think it was the one I did myself. But, you know, I'm not in this position because I'm anything special. I've served some time on the board and this and that. But the point I want to make, and I hope hits home with everybody, all my fellow realtors, the young folks coming up like Justin Lamanna and Property Management and others, is that if I can do this, they can do it too. Doesn't matter your age, race, veteran status, disability, you know, whatever. Anybody can lead our association like I plan to do.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Ted.
And now, I love you guys. Stay safe. Message me if you need anything. Thanks for tuning in. And now we're going to have Dennis do the $4.99 part. You're going to hit that close button first, and then the finish button in the bottom right. Thank you, guys. We love you.